Hi everyone, it's Moonlight Mason, and today I'm coming to you to talk about Shane Dawson's video on Jake Paul, the final. We have just seen it, I have just seen it, and I have a couple of things to say, but I am on the other end busting at the seams to talk about Gigi Gorgeous and her last video. But anyways, let me focus on this. So if you want to know more about Moonlight Mason and my thoughts on Shane Dawson's finale on Jake Paul, you gotta just keep watching. The timing for this video in Jake Paul's life was excellent. Almost like, quinceañera. Do you know what a quinceañera is? It's almost like a coming out party for him. It seemed like it was almost like he said, okay, I've done this and I've done that. And he says he learned, right? And it's time for his next phase in his life. He actually said something like that. But you know what was interesting is that prior to Shane in this series, he said, I forget, like a couple weeks ago, he had already asked or spoken to his dad about, ending their working relationship and him having to move out. So he had already done that on his own, and that was really good. And then, when Shane was interviewing Erica, she said that they too had spoken about, like that was her dream of just living, somewhere in a little house, like a 2-bedroom house with just Jake. So I hope that relationship between Jake and Erica, I really hope that, because it's going to be a little bumpy for them, because if they change their environment, the only environment that they're used to being together with all these people around, just think about that. And all of a sudden you change that. It's a learning curve. Also, being able to just be with one other person on a daily instead of being with like 15 or 20 people. I can't phantom being with these people. I would rather just be alone. I'm one of those people that I am so happy when I'm alone. And I love silence. Like, people be getting on my nerves after a while. I mean, they do though, except for my sweet piece. I don't know if Shane even is aware of this. I don't know if he's aware of it. If you think he's aware of it, share your thoughts below. But the thing is that, when Alyssa gave her truth and, she gave her, accounts of the events that happened are totally different than what Jake says happened. I thought it was like, part of me was like, Shane, are you gonna bring that up? Are you gonna say, well, Alyssa said, that you were on Instagram and the women in the house in front of her and all that, he didn't bring that up and question Jake about that. And he didn't, but in a way, that was a very, for me personally, it was like a growth. I really learned a lot in that moment, in that example. I learned a lot because it's just your truth being heard, and that's enough. Like, we don't need to go into why, your perception doesn't match, his perception. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't really matter because people have moved on, and it's like, just let it go. And so that was pretty deep. I thought that was pretty deep about Jake and Alyssa's perception of what happened. Surprisingly, I felt that Jake still had feelings for Alyssa because he just got kind of like, quiet and sad and admitted he didn't know how to be a boyfriend. And that's what I think. I just think like, he's if you're 21 and 22 years old, if you're 21 or 22 and you've got all this power, think about the power he had to go and tell people, I've got these connections, I can make you into a star. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. That's what he did. He said, I have all these connections, I can make you into a star. And, you know, and he did, I guess, you know, for a lot of people, he did, you know, manage their careers. I mean, he's very powerful, and he's very, he's got, you know, makes billions of money, like lots and lots of money. Billions of money. I'm not going to cut that part out. Another big growth factor for me was also the fact that Jake Paul would never disrespect or throw shade or throw his family and his brother and mom and dad under the bus. Like, everything is pro his family. He doesn't say anything bad about his mom and his dad and his brother. It's just interesting. And, you know, Shane wasn't trying to get him to say something bad, but just, you know, to maybe acknowledge that there's been some darkness there. What happened to Kati Morton, the therapist? She never, like, there wasn't like an official closure to her. And I think that was kind of missed, you know, because I just, like, especially towards the end, you know, like, what are her final thoughts? You know, I mean, she was brought in for her opinion. And so I think at the end, very end, it would have been really cool to get, you know, her final thoughts, something like that, you know. And she would have said that, I mean, I don't think he is a sociopath at all. I don't. I'm just really happy for Shane. And I'm so excited that one day I'll meet him. I really respect him. And I respect him because there's something about him. I wish I could just talk to him about him talking to people, because I would just talk to him one-on-one, and I would give him some really good hints on how to talk to people. He already does an excellent job, don't get me wrong. But sometimes what I'm doing when he's interviewing, like when he was interviewing Jake, I was like, he'd ask him a question, you know, and it's really soft and quiet and safe. A safe place for Jake to tell the answer. So what would happen is Shane would ask him a question, and, you know, Jake needs time to process questions. Jake is not the kind of person that answers right away. Like me, usually you ask me a question, I answer right away, you know, but Jake needs to process a little bit. So Shane asked him a question, and it was really deep. I forget what the question was, but anyways, I was like, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing to Shane. Like, just don't say nothing. Because you got to just hold that silence. Like, the longer you hold that space, the deeper that person can go. And then he would have came out with something, you know, it would have been something really like, you know, like mind-blowing and just really deep. And, you know, he would have came out with something really profound, you know, about, about something within himself that he just discovered, which is like that coming out. That's what I think. And I don't know, who knows where it'll go from here, but those are my final thoughts. I just enjoyed it very much, and I'm going to make, my next video is going to be on Gigi Gorgeous, because I just saw her last video, and I have several things to say. I think I'll make it now. Okay, you guys, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.